All right, so I think we should be good to go to YouTube. Before we actually dive in, Jess, can I actually ask you to do one jank thing and double check that you can go to YouTube and hear your voice? So my last YouTube stream that I did, that was a pair stream, my guest, I didn't know until after the stream that like other people couldn't hear the voice of my guest.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm jumping in here now. Let's code. Okay, so let me like now I can hear me.
You do?
Yeah, like I'm watching YouTube right now and there's lagging and stuff like that, but if I shut up for a second, yeah, I can hear me.
Epic. Okay, cool. So you can close that. Thank you so much. That was kind of jank, but I really wanted to be sure.
Oh, look, somebody just commented and said I can hear her too. Thanks.
Sergey, you rock. Thanks for being here. I do have the Restream chat open, so we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. Feel free to drop a question. Pop Songs Explain says I can barely hear Jessie. Yes, if you are on TikTok, you are not going to be able to hear because I cannot stream through my PC to TikTok. So sorry about that. Go over to the YouTube channel is what I would encourage you to do. Or Twitch. Just same as my TikTok handle. You can search that into YouTube or Twitch. Okay, cool. So what are we doing today? So this is like the very start of kind of like my typical mentoring sessions with a person who's going to learn to code. So we have the great pleasure of working with Jessie in this series. That's my sister. Stoked for this. But the first...
Way too kind.
By being stoked? No, I'm not. I'm legitimately stoked.
No, I mean like you're the one who literally just turned on Google and you're teaching me how to do this, and so I appreciate all the time you're taking out of this. But go ahead.
Oh, I love you. Okay, so regardless of who my student might be, my first session, it's just very much like going over the big picture and then setting up the computer. Jessie had some initiative and went ahead and installed VS Code, but like in a typical session, we might be installing VS Code together. Might be installing Git, creating a GitHub repository. I do that the very first session because I want the student to be getting credit for coding from day one. Cool, and then we do something called the trial by fire. And if you go to the link in my bio on TikTok, or if you visit latterly.io, Jess, why don't you open latterly.io? This is basically my teachable course, and it's a free course. And the trial by fire is basically the first coding lesson. And the point of it is that you're diving into the deep end. You're doing a little of everything, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And the point of that is to get you to the point where you can build something that makes sense in your very first lesson. And it's like a very basic blog application, basically. So here we see latterly.teachable.com. That is, when you go to latterly.io, it will forward you here, so that's totally fine. So don't worry about this right now, Jess, but this will be part of your homework to, I don't know, did you already sign up?
No, I haven't actually. So I'm gonna put it on my favorites bar so that I can do that.
Cool. And I will definitely, I mean, first of all, this is going to be recorded, so you can just refer to this for notes. But I also always send a follow-up email after a session with like notes. So the student should never feel pressure that they need to be like taking notes the whole time. That's a real distraction. Cool. So that'll be part of your homework. But anyway, the first lesson is what we're already doing. Before I dive into this, I'm going to do a complete tangent, and that is because someone asked a question in the TikTok chat. Pop Song Explain says, could you briefly explain what the duties tasks are for an average intermediate software engineer? So let me cover this real quick. Basically, there are like 3 broad tiers of engineer. There is the junior, the mid, and the senior. And there's many more tiers, like you can break up senior into principal, staff, and so forth, but those are the 3 broad tiers. And so the concept of a junior is that they will not be able to do independent work. And they will also have a small set of T-shaped skills. So they will be focused in one area. The intermediate, you can grow in 2 ways. You can grow across the stack, or you can become advanced in one area. You can also do both. So if you do both, you're kind of borderline intermediate/senior. So the difference between a senior and an intermediate level engineer is that an intermediate level engineer will be able to independently accomplish some tasks, non-trivial tasks, but also not like architecture level tasks. But the intermediate engineer will not be teaching other people, and they will not be leading other developers. They'll just be kind of working by themselves. And occasionally, if they get hit with like a really big issue, then obviously you can ask for help. We even do that at the senior level. So that would be a quick explanation of duties, tasks for intermediate software engineer. To be a bit more specific, I typically teach people to start on the front end and learn React. And so signs that you are intermediate level include: 1, you have advanced React skills, which include unit testing or TypeScript. Those would be 2 that come to mind. And then that would be, another is SEO, and another is accessibility. So these are advanced front-end skills. And then the other would be, well, maybe I don't have advanced front-end skills, but I do have skills across the stack. So you're learning Node.js, you're learning about REST, you're learning about database modeling and things like that. Another call out for an advanced front-end skill would be the ability to compare and contrast multiple UI frameworks. That's a really good sign that you are, you're not an intermediate developer, you're now a senior developer. Because that really is an architectural concern. It's a front-end architecture question, but it's still an architectural concern. If we're building a whole new project, should we use React or Angular or which framework? Like framework level discussions are a senior concern. Because you're setting up a project and you're basically going to have to be teaching other developers necessarily. You've created this whole framework. The question becomes why, and as soon as you're explaining that, you're now in a leading teaching senior role. Cool. All right. Thanks for that tangent, Jess. So let's dive in. So you've already got VS Code installed. The big picture, let's do that first. So basically, let's go to Latterly. Google this, Latterly slides.
Latterly slides.
Yeah.
Google. I technically binged it.
Let's see if it shows up. I don't know. Scroll down a bit, past the ads and whatever.
Etsy, blah, 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 Amazon. Let's see.
Yeah, so it didn't show up. So
Yeah, we're going to check out Google.
yeah. You're also going to want to start using the Chrome browser. But I guess we don't need...
Now?
No, we don't need to do that today. But next session, you'll want to do that. The Chrome browser has built-in developer tools that are unparalleled. Yeah, so Latterly Slides, an open source curriculum. Let's click that. So this is what we're going to be following. So you can just Control F and search trial by fire. Yeah, you can click that. Oh no, Zoom says I'm running out of time. We might have to kill the Zoom and restart, but not just yet. That'll be in about 10 minutes. Okay, so
Good eye.
is that just a YouTube video source if you hover right there?
Oh, this?
Yeah.
You want me to click on it?
Sure.
Actually, open it.
It's just a YouTube video. Yeah, don't worry about that. But that, if you forget anything, you can check that, and that's the whole trial by fire. It takes about an hour. What if you scroll up before this? Does it have like a big picture kind of thing? Interview, prep, stack, overview. Yeah, the overviews. Scroll up.
Wait, hold on.
Scroll up more.
Or I like this, but you want me to keep going?
Yeah, let's just
More
go.
how to identify.
Let's just go all the way to the table of contents, like all the way up.
I'm all the way up. Okay. This guy?
Top of the README, so a little bit down from here. Hey man, can you go over foldable trees? Not today. working on something else today.
I'd be so lost.
Hit me in another stream. Okay, cool. So, introduction to master plan. Yeah, click that.
Oh, introduction to master plan. Yeah, understanding the master plan. Okay, my bad.
It didn't go anywhere.
Ooh, John.
Can you scroll down? Or like Control F and look for that? Oh, there it is. Okay, this is it. This is it. So really, you can do this all in your homework. If you sign up for Latterly, you can like read this in your own time, but this is the big picture. So community resources, there is a Discord, there is social media, so YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, etc. It's going to go over why tech and programming in a coaching program or a boot camp. So like coaching programs are not for everyone, boot camps are not for everyone. Those will help discover if they're a good match for you. Overview of the front end path. Let's click that one. Oh, well, that's super informative. Yeah. So can you control F and does it say, I just might not have written it up. Does it say anywhere blog?
Haha, down here.
Oh, that's the GitHub blog. Okay, cool. So it's just not there. So this will be, I thought this is kind of standard advice because I do this with a lot of people, but I guess technically it's still not part of the standard curriculum. And that is, what projects should you work on? And the answer is that you should work on a blog, a portfolio site, and a capstone project. Yeah, so I can include that in our follow-up notes. But you'll be working on a blog, a portfolio site, and a capstone project. With the trial by fire, you will build a vanilla blog, and it's basically not going to work very well. Then you will rebuild the same thing in React so that you can learn React, basically. And that's it. At the end of that, you will have a GitHub portfolio with 4 projects or more, and you'll be ready to start the job search. So that's the big picture. And that's becoming pretty standard with all my students, but I guess I haven't officially made it like officially standard in the curriculum, so I'll probably add that. Okay, cool. With that background, let's dive in. So we're going to start the trial by fire, and how this works is we start with Notepad, right? So you remember this. This is kind of a refresher for you. Jessie's already done this, and so we might go a little quickly. There's an entire video of me doing the trial by fire if you look in the Latterly curriculum, so the audience can go review that. But basically, the first thing we want to do is have a GitHub. Do you have a GitHub account?
I do. So even though I remember like pretty much nothing, I do remember that I have a GitHub. Now, don't know about the credentials at this point.
Okay.
So I'm kind of down to just do a whole new one, unless you, as my brother, would advise differently because of the origin of date of that first one as far as the portfolio goes.
Yeah, we definitely want to use the same one if we can. So could you reset your password? You can like definitely stop sharing your screen if while you reset your password, if that's a concern.
No, like I totally want everybody to be able to jump in here.
Nice.
I'm gonna stop sharing.
Cool. So Jess is going to reset her GitHub password and log into GitHub. What we're going to be doing is creating a repository and building a vanilla JavaScript blog application. And actually, Jess, this is perfect timing since you're stopping to share your screen anyway. Let's close Zoom, and I will call you back in 2 or 3 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that does sound good.
Or I'm just going to maybe ping you on Facebook. I'm just going to restart the Zoom meeting, and you can rejoin. And if I don't see you in like 3 minutes, I'll ping you on Facebook.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
So foldable trees. Yeah, I don't know. Let's Google foldable trees. This feels like a totally different topic. It's like a binary tree, right? Foldable binary tree. I hope you don't mean like a foldable. Like technically, it doesn't have to be a binary tree. You could have a quad tree, an oct tree. You could have a black and red. That's a thing. Is that right? A black and red tree? Red, black tree. Okay. Well, that's still technically a binary tree. Cool. Geeks for Geeks for the win. Let's see what they got. So A and B are symmetrical. A and B can be folded. C and D cannot be folded. Okay, cool. So they're just symmetrical, right? If the tree is empty, return true, right? Empty is symmetrical. Convert left tree to its mirror image. Yeah, so that's just like inverting a binary tree, which sounds really scary, but it's not. It's like a pretty trivial recursive function. And then check if they are the same. Cool, yeah, so this is for, at least the is foldable function seems pretty straightforward. Did you have a different question other than that, Nikhil? If you want like an actual implementation, like here you go, Geeks for Geeks. Okay, cool, so I'm gonna go back to Zoom now. Tyrilius, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Tyrilius says, what are you building lately? Oh, Jessie into the room. Outside of the stream, I've been working on something called Futurecaster lately, so check that out.
Heyo.
Hey, hey.
Hello, hello. All right. Entering this 6-digit code for my email authentication real quick, and then I think I'm logged into GitHub now.
Cool. Okay, so Jessie's logged into GitHub now, so yeah, if you're down, feel free to share your screen. Oh, I need to enable it, don't I? Because we restarted.
I should be good. Here we go. Share.
Do it, do it, do it. Bam! Bam!
Participants can now see your screen. Cool.
Awesome. So yeah, so in the top right, you can see that you have like a profile picture, which is like some random art currently. So click the drop down and go to your profile page. Whoa.
Yeah,
You already have all this shit? Awesome. So, you see my first blog. So we're basically going to do this kind of again. I guess it's been a long time because your commit graph is empty.
Look at this. Look how long it's been. Dude, this is so sad.
No, it's cool.
I could have been like a complete coder by now. Anyway, go ahead.
So let's make a new repository.
Okay. You want me to go here?
Yep.
New?
Yep.
Boom. Da-da-da.
Let's call this, let's just call this all lowercase, no spaces, using dashes instead of spaces. Let's call it plain HTML blog. Awesome. And description will be, are we going to want to do this in a single page or in 2 pages? Let's do this in a single page. So this will be a single page with a dash, a single page. Nope. Single page has a dash, but there's no dash between the word a and the word single, right? So this is just like an ordinary English sentence. This is not like coding or anything. So a single page HTML blog. Cool. Yeah, public, that's great. You can scroll down a bit. Add the README for sure. We always want a README.
What's a README file?
A README file is basically a plain text file, and
kind of like this?
Yeah, kind of like this. And what it's going to do is it's going to be documentation about the project rather than code that's used within the project. And so we call it a README because anyone who comes to see your project, the first thing they should read is that README. And so that would be where you can be like, hey, you know, this is what I built and why. And you'll also include things like, this is going to be really simple, but if it was more complicated, you would include things like, how do you use it? Like if picture like Facebook, right? You would explain how to like create an account, create a post, message somebody, create one of those like Facebook marketplace thingies, create, you know, like all the different things that you can do. You could explain that. And then there's also commonly a contributions section, which is like, hey, if you're a software engineer and you want to change the code, how do you do that? For our purposes, using this in a portfolio, the main thing you're going to want to explain is like, what is this, and like, why did you build it? And the answer is like, this is a blog, so pretty much everyone knows what a blog does. And the reason that you built it is because you're trying to learn to code, and we understand how blogs work, so the mental model is really familiar, and that makes it easy to learn to code. Because you already know what you're building ahead of time, right? Like, Jess, imagine if I was like, hey, the first thing we're going to build is a machine learning driven Discord chatbot. You know, like, would a machine learning driven Discord chatbot. Like, do you even know what that is?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Okay, so phi. So you smart one. So a lot of people don't even know what that is, but then even if you do know what it is, like, how do you build it? It's like the mental model is very strange. So with a website, we pretty much all, like a blog, we pretty much all know what that is. Cool. Git Ignore, yeah, let's go ahead and do one. Is there a Git Ignore for HTML? Can you click that? Can you find for HTML? Cool. All right, never mind. Forget it. We don't need one. And then license MIT. MIT, yeah. So this just means it's going to be open source, so anyone can use your code. And then what does Git Ignore do? We're not using it because this is just going to be like a 2-file repository, so it's going to be so basic that it's not necessary. But what it does is whenever we are adding files to GitHub, the Git Ignore says, hey, don't upload this file. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. Create repository. So we have the license and the README. Okay, cool. So now we want to, we're going to start this in Notepad, and it's going to be painful, and that's going to teach you why VS Code is so great. So what we want to do is connect GitHub to your local computer. How we do this is typically, this is by convention or by norms. This is not actually technically necessary. We create a folder which is called your workspace. And so anytime you talk to a software developer and they have a computer and you're like, where's the code, where's the code that they're actually building, as opposed to the code that there is, basically always it's in their workspace. This is just like a thing that we do by convention. It's like normal. It's not actually technically necessary. So, and then where we put it is also by convention. It's not technically necessary. But where do we put it? That is in your user folder. So can you, and you're on Windows, so can you open like your Windows/users?
This guy?
Yeah, users, there's Jessie. Let's open Jessie.
That's me.
And let's make a new folder here, so you can right click in the white space area, new, yeah, bet. And then the word workspace, all lowercase. And just remember, whenever we're coding, we want to keep things lowercase and not use spaces, because it can screw up our code basically if we, forget to capitalize something, or if we don't, whenever we're coding, sometimes spaces break code. So then sometimes to get around spaces, people will use dashes or underscores, or they will use different case schemes like camel case or title case. So to avoid all of that bullshit, just keep it lowercase. Cool. Peter, what's up? Thanks for the rose, buddy. Glad to see you here. Okay, so we open. No, this is Peter.
Oh.
Peter, and by the way, if you want to be able to hear Jessie talk, go over to Twitch or YouTube, because if you're on TikTok, it's just like they can only hear me, and they're like, "What's going on?" Yeah. Oh, thanks for the follow. Cool. So let's open up the workspace, and then right click, and you want to get to your command line. So you cannot get to your command line here. Okay, cool. So there's a few different ways that we can get to your command line. One would be, we get this really cool thing that's called, what is that thing called? Conemu. Yeah. These days we should just use VS Code. Dang. Okay, so we're gonna jump ahead and open VS Code.
Bloop. Okay. So like, real quick, VS Code. If you want to go download it, type it in. If you click on this, it'll open this. Click on this, it'll actually download VS Code. Be like, hey, thanks for downloading. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pull this guy up and close out all these.
Pro. Caffeine check. I'm lit off green tea.
Look at you.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that's like a great caffeine tolerance that I aspire for, but definitely don't have it.
And I have prosciutto. Let's see, we got watermelon, sparkling waters, green tea, and prosciutto. That's our snack vibe right now.
Watermelon and prosciutto?
Yeah, well, it's watermelon sparkling waters, so it's not actual watermelon, but real watermelon would be even better, wouldn't it?
Watermelon sugar pie. No, yeah, that would be good. I had mango last night, no tahini. That was upsetting. Hey, do you want me to add these?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Install. And as far as our snacks go, I just want to let you know we owned you because we don't have prosciutto, but we definitely have pot stickers. Pot stickers over prosciutto all day.
What? I was with you until the all day like fight thing. Why are you trying to start a fight? All right, launch it.
Launch, finish, boom.
Pot stickers are really good though, for real.
Yeah, I made Mike some too. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, we're keeping it this way. Ooh, wait. Yeah. Yeah. Look at this. You can kind of like choose
A theme.
what setup you want.
Yeah.
Do you do this on your Facebook, like Messenger? It also gives you this option.
Cool. All right, so you see terminal up at the top?
Yes.
So terminal is another word for command line. So we're going to go new terminal.
And by command line, you just mean where you were actually going to be typing code. Like, can you explain this?
It's not really typing code. So what you're doing right now is you're interacting with the operating system. So in your case, that's Windows. So the command line is what allows you to interact with the operating system, basically.
Gotcha.
Or it's one way to do that. There's a bunch of ways to do that, but this is like the easy way to do it, basically. As opposed to like writing code for your operating system, which is actually really complicated. And this is PowerShell, and PowerShell is trash. So we need to go install Git. Can you do this? Can you type git space -- help? It should say Git is not found. Perfect. Yeah, Git is not recognized. So what this means is that you don't have Git installed, so let's go install Git. So you can just go Google it, you can say Git CLI if you want to, but you might just be able to say Git, Git. For the viewers, I know my face covered up what she typed, so I'm going to try and change my face, and how about that? Did that fix it? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the one, git-scm.com. So SCM means Source Control Manager. So source is like the source for your application. That's basically your code. So this is basically a code manager. You can always save your files, but saving files is not good enough because you might break your computer. So you want to be able to have versions and also send your code to a remote location, such as GitHub for safe storage. So those are the things that a source control manager does. Hit it, download it. Basically, it's going to let you send things to GitHub.
Hey.
Can you say something?
Yeah, hey, what's up?
Awesome, cool. I moved my face and I wanted to make sure I didn't like wreck the mic when I did that.
It's going very slow. 4 minutes left. Definitely 4 or 5.
Boo.
Yes. So is there anything else that we'll need aside from Git?
Maybe. We're going to do one thing at a time, though.
Getting it all set up. Dude, I worked so much today. I'm going to give you a, 25-minute heads up, by the way.
Cool. Thanks.
This is so crazy that my GitHub was literally 2019, dude.
So we can start working on the code if it's going to take minutes for that thing to download. So let's start working on the code. So you have your notepad open. Where is it? Where is this file located?
This file?
The notepad file that you have open. Let's do this. Close your notepad.
Okay.
And don't save it, just close it. Okay, it was on the desktop, whatever. So go to your workspace.
My workspace? Yeah.
Nope, it's not in VS Code.
What do you mean my workspace?
We didn't put it in VS Code yet.
No, what do you mean my workspace?
You have a folder called Workspace.
Ah, thanks. Right. Where's my users?
Cool. So yeah, right click and open a new text notepad file. Yeah. You just call it TEMP.
Whoa.
Awesome. Okay, so open it up. Let's say I would like this to be.
So even my I, all of this is all lowercase?
No. That was for file names, basically. That rule about the lowercase thing is for file names, basically. And some other things too, like variable naming, but we'll do that later. Say, I would like this to be green. Green, the color green. Oh, let's do red. I guess that's easier for you to hear. I would like this to be red. Oh, that's a double meaning. They're words, you would like them to be red. How about blue? I think blue is pretty clear. I would like this to be blue. All right, let's save it. I'm here for it. I'm here for the period. Cool, so close the file. You already saved it. Oh, here's a fun trick. Open that file back. It seemed like you were not sure if you had saved it or not. So hit backspace. You see in the top left there's an asterisk by the file name.
Yes.
That means you have unsaved changes. Try to close the file. And it will prompt you and it will say you have unsaved changes. So basically that's how you can know if you have unsaved changes. Cool.
I like that pro tip.
Cool. So open a new tab in your browser. Click and drag this file into your browser.
Click and drag this file into your browser.
Yeah, drag the file over there.
Do it.
Bam. So two things to note here. The first thing to note is that your browser is rendering text. So what do browsers do? Basically, they read text and they render it. They translate that text into something that should show up on the screen. Now, in this case, you have a plain text file. So when the browser renders the text, you just see plain text. When you're making websites, we have something called HTML, and that will allow you to write text that the browser will interpret into pictures and colors and all sorts of things. So that's the first thing to call out. The second thing to call out is that you would like this to be blue, but it's not blue. And this is related, right? This is because it is a plain text file. So in programming, we have a markup language, and it is called hypertext. We call it hypertext because it's text and more. It's text with formatting. You can do bold, italics, change the font size. Yeah.
Am I supposed to be student mode or Jessie mode? Because I have a question.
Do your thing.
So it's kind of dumb, but where did HTML come from? Who created HTML? Bob Gates? What, Bill Gates?
No, Bill Gates did not come up with HTML. Oh, this is great. The first answer is I don't know who invented HTML, But the second answer is that this is perfect because the biggest skill for a software developer is the ability to Google questions. So Google that question.
Wow.
Who created HTML?
Look at
Yeah.
this guy.
I was gonna joke some old white dude.
In 93? That really like wasn't that long ago.
I know. I made a TikTok meme and nobody laughed at it, and it was like, I'm older than HTML. And like no one laughed at it. I was like, fuck you guys.
Yeah. That is kind of fun. That's really funny. Alright, go ahead.
So we're going to be learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are the 3 tools that are used to build websites. I'm older than all of them. There's something fancy called React, which kind of merges these 3, and it's new and fancy, and you're older than React. So now, yeah, so now you're old too, boomer.
I mean, React is pretty new. I don't feel that old.
Damn. All right. I'll figure out a way. I'll figure out a way to make you feel old. Okay, cool. Did you have to pay rent?
Yeah.
Old. What an old. You're such an old.
The rate is too damn high. Alright, go ahead.
Wow, see, by making that joke, you showed that you're old.
Dang, I got myself.
Okay, cool. So I would like this to be blue. We can't do it with plain text. We need something called hypertext. And then I told you there were 2 things. I guess there's 3. The third is that how do we know it's plain text is because of the file extension. You see .txt? So for hypertext, we need to do HTML. So change it to HTML.
Like this?
Yeah, and hit enter. Oh no, it doesn't work. That's actually fine. It's because we don't have that file yet. So let's go to your file explorer. We need to do 2 things. First, we need to show the file extension. So if you right click, up at the top of this, so what we're looking at right now, this like window that you can slide around, it's called Windows, right? This particular window is called your Windows Explorer or your File System Explorer. And then at the top of this, there's something called View. File, Home, Share, View. Let's click View. Bet. If you look to the right of this pane that opened up, so you click View, it opened up this pane. It says Navigation Pane. It says a bunch of shit. If you look further on the right, it says File Name Extensions. Yep, check that one. And then we also want to show the hidden items, so check that one as well. Sweet, and now you can see the temp file. You can see it is called temp.txt. How does the computer know this? Because when you said create a new like blank document, the computer knows that that means it should be .txt. Yeah, when you did that. Cool, so now we want to change it to be a hypertext file, and this is super easy. All you do is change the file extension to .html. So right click, rename. And then yes, it's telling you like, that could, it's telling you that could fuck up the file, but in this case, I know that it won't because I know things.
This is as soon as I updated that, and I'm so sorry. What did you call this? This extension? Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's the file extension.
So as soon as you updated that file extension, as you can see, the icon changed there to like the current Windows that I'm using, like a Safari or whatever the hell this is that I never use.
That's Microsoft. Yeah, it's Microsoft Edge. Yeah.
Edge. So if I was in Chrome right now, would this show as Chrome?
No, so what the icon that you're seeing is your computer has been configured to have a default program that opens files of different file types. So on the computer that you're on, it is set up for websites, it is set up to open them with Microsoft Edge by default.
That's so sad.
Bet. Anyway, so let's edit this thing. Oh, actually, before we edit it, do one thing. Go over to your browser, and you can either click there and hit enter, or you can click and hit F5 to refresh the page either way. So what we notice is we are no longer getting the error that said the file doesn't exist. So you know, we found the file, but it's still not blue. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to make it blue. Da-ba-dee, da-ba-die.
I was green, I would die.
I'm not old, you're old. No, I'm old. I don't know. 30-ish. 30-ish. I don't really feel old, but it's all relative. Cool. So edit that file.
Let's edit you.
You can do open with Notepad.
Give me two. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I wonder if I can like pin that or something.
Don't do the always thing. Don't do that. Yeah.
Testing you. Okay, cool. R.
Cool. So we want it to be blue. Let's get rid of this. So hit backspace. That's just an extra space that's there. We don't want that. Well, you can keep the period, but you had a space after the period. I don't know if you knew that. So now we are going to change the syntax. Syntax is the letters and characters that you type. So this could be numbers, this could be slash, asterisk, period. There's something called a bracket, which, yeah, that's a bracket. And then there are angle brackets. Let's see, you type some of those. Those are called braces or curly braces or just braces. And some people call them curly brackets. Ew, go back to the UK. Do you see something that looks like a V, but it is pointed to the left?
You're talking about these?
Yeah, and those would be called angle brackets. So all of these are different characters. These are just like visual symbols that you can see. Oh, and those are parentheses. Awesome. So HTML, and so syntax basically refers to when you type a character, what does the program think you mean? And that has to do with the syntax of a programming language. So in hypertext markup language, which is HTML, we are going to use some syntax, which means we're going to use some special characters to tell the browser that we want this to be blue. And in particular, the base syntax of HTML is the HTML elements. And HTML elements are expressed using angle brackets. Cool, so let's make some angle brackets. Yep. Left, right will open. And then you can do another left and a slash and a right to close. So go ahead and do the right. So what you've done right here is you have created an anonymous HTML element. Actually, there is no element that allows for this in the HTML specification. In React, you can do this. Yep, and then that would be equivalent, a self-closing. Actually, you would need to flip the angle or flip the slash direction.
Yes, I just wanted to point this out because this fucked with me the whole time.
Yeah.
You always gotta do this one.
Yeah, it's called a backslash technically. Yeah, that's true.
Thanks.
Cool. So what we would like to do, we could do P for paragraph. We could also do a bunch of others, but let's just do that. And
Spaces?
nope, inside of the brackets. So in the opening one, put a P in there.
Wait, in here?
Yeah, between, yep. And then after the backslash, put another one. Cool, so what you've told the browser now is that you are going to, is that you have a paragraph of text, but you don't have any letters inside the paragraph. So I would like this to be blue. Let's take all of those letters and put them inside of the paragraph.
Look at this, watch this, copy, right? Boom, I'm a coder now. Hey,
Cool.
Right? Is this what you mean?
Yeah, copy all of that and paste it twice.
Okay. Like that? Or you mean like...
Even better. Yeah, they would both work, but I do like this more. That's true. So let's change the first one to say yellow. I would like this to be yellow.
You have no... This keyboard is so whack. All right.
Awesome. And so how do we actually make it? How do we actually make it different colors?
We should be doing black and yellow. Black and yellow. But yeah, we're doing that.
It's black by default. That's the thing. We could do something else if you don't want to do, I don't know.
I don't want to make it complicated. We'll do blue and yellow.
You could do purple. You want to do purple and blue or what? Orange. How do you feel about orange?
I Here, we'll do orange in honor of, no, this is blue and orange is Illinois colors. We're just going to stick with yellow and blue. Boom.
Okay. All right, cool. So in the opening, in the opening of the first paragraph element, the one where you say I want it to be yellow, add a space after the P.
Okay.
Not after the right angle bracket, after the P. So we are inside of the opening tag, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Cool. So type the word style.
So let's do it.
Equals color, or double quote, color colon,
Whoa.
yellow.
Oh, you had like numbers or something.
You can. So yellow is is like an English word, but you can also express the same color using hex codes or RG, or basically using numeric codes. But we'll just use the word yellow for now.
So confused. Okay.
And then for blue, let's do the same thing. Style color and just make it blue instead of yellow. Save
Did you
it.
say that yellow is an English word?
Yellow is an English word, yep.
Go ahead.
So save it.
Bam, bam.
Go check your browser, refresh the page.
Bam, bam.
Cool.
Whoa. This is so gross. The yellow is so gross. Hold on.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Whoa. This is what I actually wanted, but I never did it.
You could do like turquoise.
No, you can't. You're telling me that it'll change it turquoise?
That's good. That's easy to see. Green works.
Yeah, it's good contrast.
Cool. So, and then the browser knows, since they're two paragraphs, it knows that it should add a little bit of space and then put the other one below the other one, because that's how paragraphs work.
Whoa. Hey, I want to try something. I know you're doing your thing, but I'm just like kind of having a throwback. Isn't there like something where you can be like P1 or like titles or something like that?
Yeah. So that would be H1.
Oh, like header, right? Because they go under that or something?
Yeah, so we call it a heading. So this is one of those tricky, shitty things. There is a header, there is a heading. They're not the same. And then there's also a head. So those are all different HTML elements. H1 is the main heading. So instead of head, make it say main heading. Actually, just have it say my blog. Cool. And put that above the first paragraph.
So does a header also have inherent spacing? Let's find out, right? Like the paragraphs give spacing. Hey, look, it kind of gave a natural little space there.
Yep. And it's also like larger text, right? Because
Yeah,
it's the main heading. So we call those built-in styles, built-in styling.
And when we say built in, it's built into hypertext like HTML or something?
Yeah. It's technically going to be built into the browser. So different browsers can make HTML elements look different by default. So it's actually up to the browser how those look by default. Cool. So we're wrapping up. We can do 2 more things. Let's do 2 more things. So I'm just going to run through these and not really explain them, but we're going to show you how CSS and JavaScript works. So up at the top before the H1, create a head tag. Yep. /head, close it, and hit enter between them twice so that they are on different lines. Cool. One more time. Cool. And so in this space here, let's add a style tag, open and close. Cool. And in the style tag, let's enter twice And so up arrow 1 and type H1 space left brace. Not the words left brace, the actual character, the left brace. That is a left bracket. So brace is sometimes called a curly bracket. Enter twice and a right brace. Oh, and thanks for the follow. Cool. So between the braces, we will fuck with the heading style. So what would you like to do with your heading? Let's give it an underline. How about that?
Okay.
Cool. So on the line between the braces, you can hit space twice. That's not technically required. It just makes it kind of like easier to read, and it's normal. So we will say text dash decoration colon underline. It might be underlined with a D, I'm not sure. Do a semicolon. Save. And let's go look at that. Yeah. Okay, so it didn't work. Let's try underline without the D. King Spencer, thanks for the likes. Yeah, we have like 300 likes. Cool, so you got the underline now, right? So go back to your notepad, and I'll just briefly explain this. So the whole file is an HTML file, and HTML uses these angle bracket syntax to declare HTML elements for rendering. CSS is a different programming language with a different syntax. When you wrote H1, you're writing CSS. CSS is for cascading style sheets. This is the programming language that we use to style HTML elements. So give them a visual appearance, give them size, color, italics, underline, and so.
Time out. You said CSS is what we use to style HTML
Yeah.
syntax?
Yeah.
So does CSS style anything other than HTML syntax?
It can.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so you can use CSS to style like mobile apps, but that's kind of like a rabbit trail. So let's not. But the answer is it can. Yeah.
So mostly CSS goes with HTML in terms of design.
Right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. So and notice that the syntax is different, and it's different because it's a different programming language. How does the browser know? It's an HTML file. The browser's thinking you're writing HTML. How does the browser know to switch the language that it's speaking? It just switches from English to Spanish, right? How does it know? Because you told it the word style. So it knows that inside of the HTML element called style, everything inside of that element is going to be CSS. Does that make sense?
Everything within this, no, because, I mean, maybe to some, but not me right now, because what about the head here? Like everything within head is what, CSS still?
No, only what is inside of style is CSS.
So that's what confuses me. So this is CSS, but technically head is HTML, yes?
Right, even the word style itself is HTML. Notice how it's angles? Mm-hmm. It's written within angle brackets. So technically this is considered to be a style element, which is an HTML element. So the element itself is HTML. So the browser is going to read it like a book. It's going to read it top down, left to right. So it starts at the top. It says, I have and it knows from the file extension, this is all HTML. So it starts at the top and it says, I have a head element. And, you know, I can explain in detail what that means, but basically it means there is some stuff that you don't want the user to see, but you need the browser to know. Okay? So like, you see where it says text decoration underline? You don't want the user to see the letters text decoration underline.
Right.
But you need the browser to know about this. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So we put it inside of the head tag so that the browser is aware of it, but we don't want to show it to anyone. There are a bunch of things that you want the browser to know. Another one would be title. Let's do title really quick. After style, make a title element.
After style completely, the whole element or whatever, like this?
Yeah. Just say, let's say my blog inside of the title. And save it.
Okay.
Save it, go to your web page and refresh it. Now look in the tab of the browser.
In the tab of the browser.
Up and to the right.
Boom, my blog.
Yeah. So that is called the HTML title. Okay. Yeah.
It does work.
You see? So this is something that you do not want it to show up inside of the page, but you still need the browser to know about it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is another example, and we call things like this, we call this metadata. Oh no, I lost my meeting. She should probably rejoin in one more minute. That was my bad. Thank you for all of the follows. We got a bunch of follows and likes. We'll be wrapping up here soon. I think we have like 5 minutes left. Ayo, sorry about that.
No, that's not your fault. I did just want to make sure that you're able to still see this if you want to.
I can. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I know we're trying to wrap up here in the next 5 minutes. But basically, that head tag, we want the browser to know about it, but we don't want it to show it to the user. One of the things that we want the browser to know about is this style element. So we don't want the word text decoration to be shown to the user, but we want the browser to know about the style element, because what is inside of the style element, the browser will interpret as CSS. Does that make sense?
Boom, yes.
And then we're going to do one last thing, and this will be the last thing that we are going to code. And then we'll try to commit it to GitHub if you have time for that. So trying to do this in the next 5 minutes. So after the word title, let's do a script element.
Yeah, after the word title.
Sorry. After the whole title, let's make a script element. Yeah.
So, okay, still in the head still.
Yeah.
Script. Cool. I've never seen the script one, I don't think.
Cool. And so let's add a couple lines there. And let's type console.log, left parenthesis, single quote, hello world, single quote, right parenthesis, semicolon. Save it.
Why the semicolon?
Um,
Symbol is the yet. Okay, so I saved it. I refreshed it.
Yeah, so the semicolon, so what you just wrote, the syntax you just wrote, it didn't use braces, it's not CSS, it didn't use angle brackets, it's not HTML. You just wrote JavaScript. Yeah. And to answer your question, why a semicolon? Because this is part of JavaScript syntax. The semicolon is actually shared in CSS, you might notice. It tells the interpreter, in this case your browser, although you can have other interpreters that are not a browser, but it tells the interpreter that this is the end of your statement. So you're telling it one statement, you're telling the browser do one thing. The one thing that you're doing is you are logging, which means writing, like you write it in a log. You're writing hello world to the console. That's where you're writing it. Cool. So yeah, I like all your spaces that you just added there. So save it one more time. Let's go refresh the web page. And you don't see it anywhere, and that's cool because where it shows up in the console. So let me show you how to go to the console. So right click on the page and on the bottom go to inspect. And so these are the developer tools, and you can see you see it brings you to the element tab by default. Next to the element tab is the console. You see that?
Hello world.
Yeah. So JavaScript can do a bunch of stuff. One thing that it can do is it can write stuff on this thing called the console. It can also do things like make data calculations and connect to other websites and send emails and shit. So we'll do that all in the future, but this gives you a little preview of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And now let's try to commit it to your GitHub and we'll be done. So did you finish downloading Git?
Yeah. Did.
Cool, so let's double click it. I think most of the defaults should work.
What is this?
Just install it anyway. That's Microsoft trying to think that they're cool, that they need to approve. They need to approve everything because they're control freaks.
It's like not really letting me right now.
Change my app recommendation settings. Let's click that. Thanks for the follow, Joe. By the way, if y'all cannot hear Jessie talking, it's probably because you're on TikTok. So we are on YouTube and Twitch, and you'll be able to hear the audio. This is also going to be saved, so you can watch it again later in case you missed anything.
And I'm really sorry, but yeah, it's not doing anything for me. Like this whole thing isn't doing anything.
Okay.
Let's try that again.
So slow down. So open your File Explorer and right click it. And you might need to run it as administrator. Let's try to open it one more time.
Without the admin.
There's definitely a setting that I thought was there when you right click it. Can you click change my app recommendation settings? It's not doing anything?
No, that's why I'm confused.
Can you click install anyway? And it doesn't do anything?
No.
Okay, cool. So you can close this and let's just Google the question because there's literally just a box you got to check somewhere and I'm forgetting where it is.
Okay.
Install not from App Store Windows. How about that? Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh gosh. Start, settings, apps. Can I just be like apps? Features. Okay. Boom.
Joe says, I want to start JavaScript soon. Hey, if you're on TikTok, check the link in my bio and sign up for the free course. You can start it today.
Alright, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't see Git anywhere. Is there some weird name?
No, we're not looking for Git. Git is not installed yet. So let's go back to the web browser. And just keep following the directions. So start, settings, apps and features.
Let's select either allow apps from anywhere or turn off app recommendations.
Yeah, I think we want to allow apps for anywhere.
I have no idea where that is. What are you talking about?
I don't know where it is. It'll be somewhere on this page. I think it's going to say allow apps from anywhere.
Okay, let me actually do under installing apps. Yeah, I'm totally typing out. Under installing apps, select one of the available options to stop seeing app recommendations. Select either allow apps from anywhere. Turn off. Okay, got it. So we're trying to turn these off. So uninstalling apps, updating apps, installing web apps. How do we turn it off?
What about that optional features at the top? Nah, Let's go back. Here, I'll Google it on my side. 1 second. It's like allow apps from anywhere. I just don't know where it is on the GUI. You're on Windows 10, right?
Yeah.
It says under the first heading. That's super helpful.
Yeah.
Under installing apps. Okay, so let me look at your screen again. Under installing apps. Do you see something that says...
I have this one. Apps.
Yeah, do you see something that says installing apps?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Installing web apps.
Yeah.
That's...
Boo, stupid, close it. How about uninstalling apps? Of course, literally it's the opposite. It's like installing apps, uninstalling apps.
All of them are...
Nope, this is all stupid. What if you scroll all the way down?
I tried that. I can't even see my scroll bar right now.
There's nothing down there. Yeah, scroll back up. Oh, did you click apps and features?
What about this? Yeah, I did.
It's literally not here. This is why Microsoft is the worst. All right, I'll keep Googling. Let's see if I can find something else. And you're sure you're on Windows 10, not Windows 11?
No, I'm not at all.
Oh, okay. So Windows 11, I'm seeing choose where to get apps. Do you see anything that says choose where to get apps?
Choose a default app.
No.
Startup apps. Add or remove programs.
Can you do the search thing that you're doing and say turn off app recommendations? Let's still do the search thing and let's try allow apps from anywhere.
Under installing apps. Hold on. Say that again, John.
In your search and the Windows search, let's search allow apps from anywhere.
And the web.
It's just really not working. Cool. So they definitely. What about this? Let me see.
What about this?
Allow apps to communicate through. No, this is not that. This is not that. You can close that. Let's try to install Git one more time, and then what does the actual text that shows up? Let's try and search that. That could be more helpful.
This time the link worked, but it took us to exactly where we went before. Yeah.
So we can't search what did the text say? Can you double click it?
Double click what? I'm sorry.
The installer for Git in your downloads. And just read, let's just read what does the text say. The app you're trying to install isn't a verified. So I'm going to Google search this, or you can, but I'm going to. So Git, the app you're trying to install. Cool. Looks like there's a video. So let's watch this fun video. Apps, same place we went, apps and features. Oh, are we just so tired we're looking right at it and we're not seeing it? Okay, so let's go back to that thing one more time. No, it literally looks different. Installing apps only from Microsoft Store. Yeah, there's literally like a missing section. Installing apps only from Microsoft Store. I wonder if it's because like you're not an admin or something like that.
I know his passwords, all his credentials. But that could be why. Let me go back here. Just for fun. Ooh. So this isn't anything that I could be like.
Allow apps from anywhere doesn't show. Windows. I think it's because you're not an admin, Jess. Oh, okay. Here's one thing we could try maybe is, and we'll give this just like 2 more minutes, and if we can't figure it out, then we'll forget about it. So close your whole downloads and open a folder as admin. Like, can you right-click downloads and open downloads as admin?
Yeah, sorry.
You could right-click your workspace.
I wonder if it'll let me like it'll let me run Git as an administrator.
Now you have 2 Gits. Yeah, try run it as administrator, yeah.
What? It gave me the same pop-up.
Yeah, can you try install anyway?
Yeah. Oh gosh. This is gonna irritate me. Let's remove this guy. Let's go ahead. Do. Install anyway. Whoa.
Okay, I heard the thing pop up on your side.
Yes, it is working.
No, use command line, dude. Can install with 1 line of code using command line. Yeah, I believe you. Wait. From what line of code would you use? So we're on Windows, so you can't just git install, you can't brew install. You're gonna use Chocolatey or something? Nah. What line of code would you use?
John, can I just go through all of this?
I'm looking, but usually the defaults are safe, but let's just kind of double check. That looks good. That one's good. Yep. Cool. Yes. Yeah, we're good. How long does it take to become a senior dev? You can do it in as little as 3 years. Your course is not free. Yes, it is. Try again. Can you get work experience while in college? Absolutely. Keep doing, bro, working on media queries. Cool, yeah. Media queries are pretty important, so we can probably touch on that in a different stream.
I have lunch to go.
Awesome, so that's git bash. That's what we need. So you can close this, close. So
this is Mike's now. Anyway, go ahead.
That's fine. Close it. And close your VS Code.
Okay.
And open VS Code. You just need to restart it, basically. Pop Songs Explained. No, I answered this question earlier. You're going to make me answer it again? Hey, can you... Dadgummit. Can you just go, like, All right, I'll answer it again. Give me a minute because Jess is almost done, and then I'll answer your question when she's done. It's also going to be recorded in the, yeah, you missed it, I know. It's also going to be recorded in the stream, so you can like go to my YouTube channel and watch this, but after the stream is done, it's probably going to take a couple hours for it to process, so had to tidy up the home. Yeah, no worries, that's good. So in the bottom, Jess, you see PowerShell. Can you click? There's a plus icon, and then there's a drop-down icon next to the plus. Yeah, can you click? And you see Git Bash. That's what we need now. Cool. So type ls, enter. Awesome. Type cd space w tab, enter. So now go to GitHub. Yeah, this one. Click the green code button. Click HTTPS. Yep. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. So now go to VS Code. GIT space clone.
Space clone?
Yeah, space Control V. Enter. On the right there, you can just close that. Now do cd space p tab. Enter. Cool. And so now the folder that was on GitHub is now on your computer. So you can open up your little Windows Explorer. Windows Explorer, yeah. Let's go to the workspace. Rename, so you have your notepad open for temp, so close that. Close the notepad. Let's rename it blog.html.
This one?
Yep. Cool. Drag it and drop it in the folder. And now go back to VS Code. Let's type git space status. Pro. So you see the blog HTML is found, but it says it's untracked. It says use git add if you want to include it. So let's do git add blog.html. Where's your sister from? Jess, where do you tell people you're from?
Texas, what do you mean?
I don't know, I'm just checking. So
What the heck?
she says she's from Texas.
Okay, so I can add in the file?
No, delete the angle bracket. That is just a kind of like a variable. So you want to type blog.html. Perfect, enter. And now git space commit -m for message. So whenever you save something with Git, you need to give it a message. And so you can type space, double quote, FEAT colon. And you can do space heading. And hold the shift key and push enter twice. Type and basic style. Double quote, enter. And so, it doesn't know your username and email. Oh, crap. No, this is a bunch of crap. No, we can still do this piece. We will put it on your GitHub later, but at least you can do the commit right now. So it says git config user.email. So literally copy all that, but change where it says you at example.com. So let me ask you this. Are you chill if one of your emails is public? It shouldn't even need to be. Just do the username. Git config global username and your name. Change it to like Jessie or something like that. Jessie Vanderveer.
is what you want me to do.
The one that says username?
Yeah, yep. What about it?
Can you just copy it?
I mean, I can't technically copy from in here. No.
Yeah, you should be able to. I know it's like acting weird when you like click and drag it, but just like...
You're saying this, I can like hit Control-C right now and that copied it.
Yeah, but do the one that says user.name.
User.name.
Yeah, so paste it, yeah. And just make it like Jessie or Jessie V or some shit like that. Cool, enter. Type up on the arrows twice. Enter. And it still wants your email. Do you know what email address you used for your GitHub?
Yeah, it's jes@icloud.com.
Okay, cool. So do the email thing, you@example.com, and change it to your email for that. You can do Control-C.
Control-C?
Yeah, up.
What?
Up arrow. Double quote.
Thanks.
Enter.
Enter.
Yep. And now I think you'll need to do like 3 or 4 up arrows to get back to the commit statement. Maybe down one. Yeah, enter. Hallelujah. Okay, so we committed. And then pushing it to GitHub is going to be a separate thing. We'll do that later. But this is great. So I think whenever we do push, if I'm not mistaken, GitHub will become aware that you committed at this time. So I think you'll still get credit for coding today. We'll see. But that's it. Thanks for hanging in there. I know we're probably like 20 minutes over, honestly. But thanks, Jess.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, the curse of Windows. Okay, cool. So let me answer the questions from Pop Songs Explained. So in reverse order, is this for fun or is she interested in a dev career? So yeah, I'm super excited because my sister is interested in becoming a programmer. Where is she from? She's from Texas. She's been living in Illinois for years at this point, but as you heard, she still identifies as being from Texas, which is pretty cool in my book. And then what are the duties, tasks of the average intermediate software engineer? So I'll go over this again. I think I also answered this at the start of the stream. I'm not sure which is going to be in more detail, probably the one at the start of the stream. But basically, we can classify software engineers into 3 broad groups: juniors, intermediate, and seniors. You could break this down further. So juniors might be separately considered like junior and intern. Seniors could be like senior, staff, principal, etc. But in broad strokes, junior, intermediate, and senior. And the difference is here, the junior is not independent. That's the marker of a junior. And this is not like a mark of shame. This is like perfectly proper for you to be a junior and to be learning from other people. So the intermediate level developer will be able to accomplish tasks on their own, at least average sized tasks, let's say. If you run into like something that's just like unusually complex, even at the senior level, it is routine and expected that you will notify your team and have a team discussion generally. At the intermediate level, you should be able to handle simple and moderately complex tasks on your own without much help. You are not expected to teach other people, but you are not expected to need much teaching. Even if you run into something that you're not quite familiar with, you should be able to kind of like Google and figure it out in many cases. At the junior level, you are learning from other people. You're not really expected to do things on your own. At the junior level, you will have basically one skill set. So you might be a junior web developer. At the intermediate level, you can grow in 2 ways. Either you will become very advanced in that one skill set, or you will continue to be sort of like lower skilled or moderately skilled, but you'll get a bunch more skill sets. So, for example, a full stack developer is an intermediate role. I know you'll go to Indeed.com and there are people that want to hire a junior full stack developer to me, that is like hiring a cup of dry water. It's like a contradiction. So that you can be a back-end developer or a front-end developer and be a junior. But if you know both, you are intermediate because you have a complex skill set. The other thing so that would be one example. I was a back-end developer or a front-end developer, and now I've learned both sides of the stack. I have moved from junior to intermediate. The other way is that I can become advanced on one side. So on the front end, this would involve learning things like unit testing, functional testing, automated testing with Cypress, like non-unit testing, just all kinds of testing. TypeScript is another example. SEO, search engine optimization, accessibility. These are examples of like advanced semantic HTML. These are examples of some of the things that you could learn on the front end. And then another would be the ability to compare and contrast multiple frameworks, as opposed to a junior who would just know one framework. Finally, of course, the senior is the person who is making architectural level decisions and teaching others on the team and leading. And if there's something unknown, they will relentlessly hammer at the unknown until they can take a fuzzy problem and make it well-defined and ultimately solve it. Parrot Assassin, what's up? Hey, y'all should go follow Parrot Assassin for cybersecurity fun. TX Autoglass, I just started a full stack bootcamp. Any advice? Hang in there. I mean, yeah, if you knock this out, then you should be able to get a job if it's a decent boot camp. The other thing I would say is one of the drawbacks of a boot camp is that they are hard paced. The pace is not flexible. If you need them to slow down so that you can soak something in, you're out of luck. If you kind of want them to speed up, which is rare for a boot camp, but it happens, you're also out of luck. So 6 months is 6 months. If you could learn it in 4, too bad, it's going to be 6 months. I think if the boot camp is slower, like that's okay, just be patient. But if the boot camp is too fast for you and you feel that you're not getting the concepts, then I would say reach outside of the boot camp for mentorship. And that would be basically my only advice. So I can help you with that, and there are just a lot of people out there that can help you with that. But yeah, feel free to check the link in my bio if you want to book a session with me. What are we working on? It's giving Flask vibes. So this website in front of us, I will be working on outside of the stream because it involves secrets basically. But you can visit it. I mean, I'm working on this for a client. Awesome, thank you, and I will. Great. So this one is not using Flask. Let's see, what is that using? It's using Next.js with Netlify. But yeah, actually, you caught us at the end of the stream, Parrot Assassin. So I appreciate you so much dropping by, but we're actually done. The stream was saved to YouTube and Twitch. So when I close the stream out, you'll need to give it probably a couple hours to process, but then you should be able to go review it. And yeah, just to re-summarize, what did we do today? Basically, kicking off learning to code with my sister Jessie. So she's learning to code, and a lot of today was setup. And we also did a partial of something called the trial by fire. Her homework will be to do the rest of it. By the end of the trial by fire, you should be able to basically have like kind of a janky blog article widget. And we only did some really basic work there. Thank you so much for your time. You're very, very welcome. Thanks for your participation. Please no leak API keys. Yeah. Cool, cool. All right, bye y'all. See ya. Oh, Josh Babin. Oh, I just noticed my stream chat. Josh Babin commit. I did some things. That's awesome. Charles Ham back. I didn't get to listen to your response. Charles, I'm not sure what your question was. Feel free to tweet me. So John Vandeveer on Twitter, or drop a comment in the YouTube video. But if you want to tweet me your question, I'll get back with you personally.